COVID yet.
Yeah, that's true.
And the bitterness, that the excesses that COVID left behind.
There goes Dr. Drew, the actor. The bitterness of the excesses that COVID left behind. So, are you talking about, for example, the fact that these major pharmaceutical companies got huge contracts at a time of what we call a pandemic? They shouldn't have been awarded anything, and profitized along with healthcare on the backs of American. That was the bitterness you were talking about when you talked about excesses. Are you talking about the fact that New York Times thought they needed to tell us that 97 congressional leaders were doing possible conflict of interest on being committees and subcommittees while doing inside trading, and their excesses buying huge stock positions in these companies that we're talking about, all to boost their portfolio, never thinking about the general public because they wanted to make money off the backs of these institutions that got huge contracts from the government, and that would be a surplus of money that we would have needed that could have went to society. Are you talking about the excesses that were coming from the billions of dollars that were printed and infused into society, that there was no oversight, that went into lined pockets of various people that even businesses that were getting PP loans, established businesses that should have returned that money, or better yet, making sure that you had states, building golf courses with money from COVID that really should have went directly to the needs of those people that were going through a great deal in our economy. And there was a lot of money that wasn't directed to help or assist people that were either sick, ill, or in need of assistance for their medical bills or their housing, or for hospitals and doctors that put their lives on the line. People that are you talking about those excesses, Dr. Drew? Are you talking about the fact that the federal government was basically mismanaging all that taxpayer money and basically not even applying it to what it was supposed to be applied to, when we know for a fact that they were doing their own things and actually reaping that money as income or getting kickbacks from lobbyists? Are you talking about those excesses, Dr. Drew? You know, some of you all tiptoed on this show and I watched it. It's disgusting. Bill Maher, you know what? You're even getting flaky now because you know what we're left with is really sewer. It's the bottom of the barrel. You don't want Trump, you don't want Biden, because you know for a fact that the choices we have really stink. And it's all quagmired in the fact that you know yourself because you're around them. The elitists with a lot of money that have really basically arred this country, and we're going to have to pay the price. We're paying the price now. Even with everything that's going on with the excesses, everything is so planned and plotted. We have huge institutions that are now going to be basically milking the system to get government contracts because now money's been allocated for the war in Ukraine and Israel on the backs of Americans. And they are going to reap so many benefits. Those corporate institutions that are going to start revving up to send ammunition, supplies over to these countries, and also the politicians that I told you in COVID were buying huge stakes in these institutions and companies like Raytheon, Halliburton, Honeywell, BAE, in addition to Merck, Pfizer, all of them. And this is just going to be a good time for them to reap rewards. It's a win-win situation. You talk about excess, I'll tell you what the excess is. We've had such an imbalance between the haves and the have-nots that unfortunately it is true. If they can't eat bread, then give them Kellogg's cereal. They can't even afford cake anymore. You all make me disgusted. That's all.